Hey mamas, you're going to want to hear about the major secret I kept from my loved ones throughout my entire pregnancy. My name is Corinne. I'm that mom friend who's always here hyping you up and encouraging you to tap into that maternal instinct and live out the life of your dreams. 4 years ago, I was pregnant with my very first child, and my entire pregnancy, I went without telling my family and friends what my real birth plan was. As someone who's always dreamed about being a mother and being pregnant, for years before it was actually my time, I thought I knew exactly what I wanted out of my birth. And that was up until the moment when everything changed. I went into my pregnancy thinking that I'd find a local midwife, ideally have them prepared to come to my house once I was in labor to assist with my birth. Or, worst case scenario, I'd consider giving birth at their birth center if needed. But after my first appointment or two, I started noticing a few red flags. They did some initial blood work and never sent me my results, never called with any findings. Come to find out, I had a minor UTI that they didn't think that was important enough to call me about. Then they stopped accepting my insurance. I would have to pay their fee fully out of pocket when it was my time to deliver. So I just decided, you know what? Let me find another provider. Next was even worse, in an even more medicalized in hospital midwifery practice. There were two midwives there who, of course, saw countless women. There was one who I kind of liked, and the other gave me weird vibes, like as if I wasn't really worth her time. And whenever I came to the appointments with my thorough list of questions for the doctor, I'm going to give those to y'all, link it below. They always gave me the feeling that they were bored or too busy to answer all of my questions, or they were tired of hearing them, even though it was my first time. Given that there were only two of them, I knew that my odds of landing the one that I actually liked to be on duty when I actually went into labor was unlikely. And I started having this gnawing feeling that these were not the right people, these were not the right settings for me to give birth in. During childbirth, our bodies have to enter one of the most vulnerable states that they will ever be in. You have to have a deep sense of comfortability and security. And I'm realizing that the conditions in these hospitalized settings were not going to allow me to achieve the unmedicated, uninterrupted birthing as our bodies were designed to do style of birth that I was hoping to have. And my internal instincts were yelling at me that there has to be another way, and I needed to figure it out. Whether these midwives were overworked or understaffed or truly just did not have the capacity to care about the next woman walking into their office, I realized that these were just not going to be the people that I needed to have around me in my birthing space. I wouldn't have been able to have the support that I was looking for. And so I just decided to start weighing out my other options. I went back to square one and began to really visualize what my dream birth would look like. I knew I wanted to give birth at home, but who would I feel comfortable enough to have around me? And that's when I started to slow down on telling people what I thought my plan would be. I didn't have all the details ironed out, and I didn't want to make space for other people's opinions or feedback or thoughts about my birth. I started listening to countless birth stories, podcasts, videos, books. I started dreaming what the possibilities could be, what it could look like. Then I started hearing more stories about free birth, giving birth in complete autonomy, able to move and eat and rest, shower, take a bath in the comfort of my own home. How our ancestors and traditional midwives have helped women give birth for centuries before hospitals even existed. This to me would mean relying completely and entirely on my body and its natural design and its capability to birth babies, allowing no external influences into my sacred space, my home, no midwives, no medical practitioners, no tools, no equipment, no drugs, and even including family and friends who might not understand. It's a deep level of intimacy required to truly enter the serene headspace where my body would be fully autonomous to take charge. And that's where my secrets started to take shape. The more I dug into what a true autonomous free birth looked like, the more my maternal instincts and my baby's wisdom started to align. And it made it extremely clear, a deep gut sense of knowing what I needed to do and how to foster this safe and protected environment. At that time, my fiance and I were still living with my mom, and we were weeks away from being able to move into our own home. And then a few weeks after that, our baby was expected to be due. I knew that if we were still at my mom's place, I wouldn't be able to carry out my secret plan, and that my partner and I were planning to give my body the complete freedom and control to harness its true power in bringing forth babies. So I remained focused on what my vision was of this peaceful and intimate birth space. I knew it would be uninterrupted, I knew it would be unassisted, and eventually we were able to move into our place. I told my family and friends that we were planning to have a midwife come, have a doula come, but in reality, I knew that it was all up to me and that I could handle it. I had a birth worker friend who I could have called. I considered having her. But in the end, I allowed myself and my fiance to make the decision that we had all that we needed. And as a result, my man, our baby, and myself, we shared the proudest moment of our lives together. To this day, we brought forth our little baby girl into the world all alone, and we couldn't be more honored. I was able to give myself and my body the space, the capability to do what it does best, do its natural tendency. I knew that I had to keep my vision a secret to allow this sacred space to remain protected for our little family. And the reason why I'm telling you all this story now is because I'd love to help you achieve this dream outcome in your own birth too. I'm sharing my story because I'm hoping that more mamas will take it upon themselves to make their birth space sacred. If you have that deep inkling that something about your birth plan isn't lining up right, you need to listen to that instinct. Feel free to ask me any questions that are coming up for you. I'll be sure to talk about those in our next video, and I look forward to catching you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.